What's up, guys? Good evening. Good evening. First off, if you guys are joining us live or watching the replay, drop a comment. Let us know where you guys are tuning in from. It is a very, very special Teachable Tuesday here, obviously, with the funnel team. myEcon and none other than myEcon co-founder, Ivey Stokes. I'm going to kick it over him to just in just a minute, guys, but super excited to have you guys here. So please, 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 please make sure you guys pay very, very close attention to the information that we're going to go over with you guys tonight because you will be blinded with science. You will be filled with information, all things to do with your business, from money to products, services, a little bit of the history of the company, all that stuff, guys. So please pay very, very close attention and give us your undivided attention, rule out distractions, all that sort of good stuff so you guys can learn. Now, before we dive in, Bill, I know you've been looking forward to this for quite a while now. We've talked about this for a couple of weeks now. What's got you fired up and excited right now for the funnel team, myEcon, having Ivey here, all that?
Well, like I said, it's big. I did a lot to get a lot of people here on the team. Thank you for everyone being here. It's going to be a real treat. Ivy has a different style. Dan's going to introduce him in a little bit, but we all love money. But he has a different presentation where you're going to learn the inside of the products and services that we have. We have real products and services, and how you can cash flow and you know even to seven figures just using the products with lowering your credit score, the training on investments, and actually using our products and services. We love recruiting, but there are people in this company that they're millionaires just using the products and services over the
Mhm.
last decade. So I'm happy about that. It's a different style. I love, Dan, I love the affiliate side. I love making money in recruiting, but really looking forward to this presentation. So
Yep.
that's what's got me.
Agree 100%. Now, one of the things, guys, before I kick it over to Ivy, I want you guys to know that, Bill and I have both been in my econ since 2018, and we have worked with many different, CEOs and founders over the years. And I got to tell you, like, there's no better, more, communication, direct honesty, sincerity, just the willingness to help than we've found with myEcon. I absolutely love working with the corporate guys, from Larry, the CEO, to Ivy, the co-founder. It's just a real, just a breath of fresh air to work with guys like this, where, we've had some speed bumps in the past before, but, you guys are in really, really, really good hands. And Ivy, the co-founder, has been in networking for decades and now brings all that experience to you guys and this business. And it's such an amazing business. So he's going to take you through it without any further ado. Ivy, great to have you here. Thank you for taking time out of your evening to come hang out with our team. We really appreciate it. So why don't you just jump right in and let them have it?
All right. Well, hey, I am glad to be here. It's good. It's great being here. It's always better to be invited, you know. So I do appreciate Dan and Bill. They've been with us a very long time. Really, really good guys, you know. And I've been their ear all the time, calling up and saying, "Hey, how should we do this? Or how should we do that?" You know, because they have an abundance of experience, and I also appreciate the fact that they're going to shoot me straight. You know, they say, "Well, that ain't worth a flip, Ivy. That's pretty good." And then, so I respect that. So we get along good. We work great together, and we're making some money and having fun, and that's always, important. And as the rest of you get to know me, you will know that I enjoy having fun along with making money. I don't want to grind. That's not something that I'm into. So I'm really happy to be here tonight. We're going to talk about um, a couple different parts of my econ. The first thing we're going to talk about is our products, which are unique. There's no company out there that has products like my econ. And then on the second thing we'll talk about is how using those products will actually help your recruiting and team building. It's very unique. It's something that I learned and mastered over a long career in networking. I started when I'm 21. I'm 66 now, so you guys can definitely do the math pretty quick. So I am glad to be here. So I'm going to flip over to my PowerPoint very quickly, just to so we can all have something to kind of. And by the way, this PowerPoint's in the back office if you ever want to use part of it. I don't use all of it. And there's a section with the talking points. So you can get the same point that I'm making, and then you put it in your own words, you know. So, I always like to tell people what myecon's all about. Myecon is short for my economy because we take the position that everybody has an economy. You got the world economy, the U.S. economy, the state, the city, all the way down to our households, and somebody's got to be in charge of that economy versus having the idea or the thought process, well, I wonder what the economy is going to do. It doesn't matter what the economy does. You can always make your personal economy what you want it to be. And that's what myEcon was founded upon, even the name. And when we say personal financial success, that's a different number for everybody, but it's the same concept for everybody. And that's simply having enough cash flow to support your lifestyle, whatever chosen lifestyle that is. Now, during your working years, obviously that money is going to come from your labor as you build businesses, work jobs, or do a combination thereof. But during your retirement years, which could be at any age, that cash flow is going to come from your assets. Assets like stocks, bonds, mutual funds, 401ks, real estate. It's got to come from some set. So the bottom line, all of us have to, number one, generate cash flow, and number two, we got to create wealth. Okay? Everybody has to do that. It's just a matter of what is your number. And so in myEcon, we kind of step outside that box. Many people, their only way of creating cash flow is by working a job. And then some people do it by working a job and, of course, investing. And then some people do it by working. In myEcon, we do it. You can do it through a job. You can do it through strategies, and you can do it through assets. So we always say the first thing in myEcon is we show you how to generate unlimited cash flow using financial strategies in business building. Now, that's where myEcon is different than every other network marketing company in the world. Because all the other companies, they're talking about just selling products and recruiting. There's nothing wrong with that. We recruit and sell products as good as anybody in the industry, but we have another major part of our business that can help people become even greater recruiters, okay, and have greater retention. And that's using the financial strategies, okay? So the bottom line is this is a proven concept, generating cash flow using strategies and business building, because over the last 20 years, our members have generated over $1 billion. Now, all that money didn't come through commission. Some of that money came through using strategies. But if I ask you or you ask me, I think everybody would agree. $1,000 is $1,000 as long as I got it from somewhere that was moral and legal, same amount of money. So it doesn't matter, right? So we've got a proven track record. We're 20 years old, debt-free, technology-driven, all that good stuff. And we got an A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau. So we've been doing some things right. We intend to continue to do things right because I look at it from the basis that all of us are in business for ourselves, but we all in business together. And we don't want to lose our business over somebody doing something stupid at corporate or in the field or anywhere else. So treating people right and doing the right thing is very important to me. And, and so I'm sure it's very important to you also. So I just always like to get that out there. That's what we've been doing. Now, let's talk about this cash flow. And I want to talk about the products a little bit, okay? See, everybody gets in network marketing for the same reason. They want more money. I like to call that money cash flow, okay? Because when you say cash flow, it kind of infers that it keeps on coming. It's not just a one-time payment, And so let's take a look at how that looks and what we do about that in myEcon. Well, number one, cash flow is essential for financial success. Anything that you want to do in your finances, whether that's improve your lifestyle, do more investing, debt elimination, even charitable giving, more cash flow is going to be beneficial. I would say even if a person just wants to maintain where they are, they need more cash flow coming in because we know the cost of living is going to go up. And so if we don't raise our cash flow over time, then we tend to kind of get behind financially. So the bottom line, everybody wants more cash flow. Individuals, companies, nonprofits, governments, everybody's trying to get more cash flow. In myEcon, we've got two major ways to do that. That is financial strategies and business building. And that's the advantage we have on every company out there because the other companies, they just have business building. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm going to talk about that in a few minutes, but I want to spend maybe 10, 12 minutes just on strategies because strategies is going to make you a better business builder by far. Because, some people, they have wonderful personalities or they got, the gift of gab or they can really use the computer and social media and they can drive sales like crazy. But let's admit it, that's not all of us, is it? I'm not that guy, okay? So we got to have a different way to build the business and grow the business. And that's something that I've been doing literally for 45 plus years successfully, okay? So our first strategy, our first product in myEcon and our most prolific product is our financial success membership, okay? As a matter of fact, in the near future, that's going to be changed to the cash flow success membership, right? And what it does, it empowers our members to generate cash flow with using strategies without recruiting anybody or selling anything. Now, that's very important because all of us talk to people who say, I don't like recruiting. I don't know how to recruit. I don't want to bug people. Okay? That's everybody. Every one of us have talked to people like that. Well, we call the concept income shifting or cash flow shifting because it literally shifts cash flow that would have gone to the IRS, creditors, and investors back into each of our pockets. Okay? If you lower your taxes, you're shifting money from the IRS back to you. If you pay off a debt early, you're shifting money that would have gone to your creditors in the form of interest payments back to you. If you become an investor, you're literally shifting money from the marketplace back to you. So we've got 5 strategies, right? The quick cash flow, the build great credit, minimize taxes, debt elimination, and invest like the pros. So these are the 5 strategies. Let's go into the back office just for a couple minutes so that you can really see this. And so this is something that I like to do and something that every one of us can do. We can do it individually with our team members. And then, of course, I'm sure Bill and Dan and the whole team is, they use the strategies and talk about the strategies, okay? So each one of these templates, of course, all of you know, they're very clickable. So when somebody comes in, then if you can show them how to change their W-4, it's not hard. They can figure it out themselves, But the bottom line is the idea is we don't owe the IRS. The IRS don't owe us at the end of the year, okay? But we know that over 100 million people got refunds last year. Over 100 million people, like $459 billion. It's a lot of money. The average refund was over $3,000. So this is a big pool of money, okay? So we can in about 10 minutes, somebody, no more than 15, even if it's their first run, they can see how to change their W-4. So they got a job. The IRS is taking money out of their paycheck, okay? Unfortunately, the form has poor instructions. Nobody helps. So we show the person how to correct that form. There's an IRS calculator that does that, and we've got many trainings on that. We typically see people get $300 to $500 back in take-home pay, but I've seen over 1,000 many times. Now, what if you got that extra $400 a month back into your paycheck? Okay. Now, some people would look at that and say, well, yeah, but Ivy, that's it's just $400. That's not a big amount of money. Well, at $400, your residual income on that would be more than many people in network marketing that's working every day. But let's take it to a bigger picture. Okay. What if they got a $5,000 credit card? They owe $5,000 on a credit card. They're paying $125, $130 a month on the credit card payment every month. It's going to take them 84 months to pay it off. So they're going to more than double the payout. The payback is going to be more than double what they borrowed. What if they take the extra $400, add it to the $150 they're already paying, and now the credit card is paid off in 11 months? But now, instead of paying that $150 for 84 months, they paid it for 10 or 11 months. Take that $150 and the extra $400 they got from the IRS, invest it. And when they do that, there's going to be a $40,000 to $50,000 net cash flow turnaround. Now, how long is it going to take most people that's not great recruiters to make $50,000 in network marketing in cash? By combining their own financial picture with the strategy, bang, now they're making money with money. Now, let's kind of divert for a moment and let's just talk about recruiting. Wouldn't you rather have that conversation with somebody about how you're involved in a company or you got a membership and it helped you pay off a credit card 7 years earlier, and now you invest in that money, it's going to be a big turnaround for it? See, that's a great conversation piece versus here's the comp plan, this is how it works, start recruiting people and make money. See, it's a broader concept. It appeals to more people, and it gives you the ability to recruit people faster. And your retention is going to be greater because the people are going to be with you now 8, 10, 15, 20 plus years. And so you're making money on them every single month. Okay. So that's one strategy, quick cash flow strategy. Okay. Then you got the credit repair. Obviously, building a great credit score. We got a great system. We're bringing out a new one next Saturday, a new My Credit system. And then we expect before Halloween, definitely before Thanksgiving, to bring out our AI version of credit repair. Okay. But right now, this one's worked. It's helped tens of thousands of people. Well, if you buy a car and you've got a 770, 780 credit score versus somebody's got a 680, come on. They're going to pay $20,000 or $30,000 more for the same car. So why not raise the credit, get a good deal on a car, get a good deal on a mortgage, and now your conversation once again becomes much broader. So whether you're posting on social media, whether you're talking to a friend, whether you're talking to someone you just met at a coffee shop or whatever, if you're talking finance, investing, credit building, that's a broader conversation, and that person is much more likely to come into business with you. All right, let's go a little bit further here. So, use that. And then once you do it, it's easy to teach it. It's 24 minutes of videos. Once you do it, it's pretty easy. Okay. And we have some really good trainings on that. Now, let's talk debt elimination. We got a debt elimination system. Okay. So, if somebody's wanting to do that, I'm more on the investment side, but if somebody wants to get rid of some debt, we got a great debt elimination, and it's simple. Watch the video, put the numbers in, their creditors, the amount they owe, the interest rate, the minimum payment, and it's going to create a plan for them to be able to pay their debt off in the most efficient way. Now, here is my second favorite strategy, okay? Minimize taxes. So we're going to provide everybody with an app, the Cash Flow Manager app. Keep up with all of their tax records so they'll be IRS compliant. But what we also do is we provide you each year with an updated version of the majority of the tax deductions that a home-based business owner would qualify for. So I just go into the IRS website each year. Okay, as a matter of fact, it's time to do it again. They're always late coming out with info. And we go through the information, publication 463, and we outline it in red. Each of those, like transportation, what you got to do to write it off, mileage rate, car expenses, meals and entertainment, parking. All of these different strategies and ways to keep up with your tax records. Okay. Now, Here's why this one is such a favorite to me. If you learn the first one that I like to talk about is your home-based business, let the government pay the bill. That's one of my favorite points. Okay. So let's say you're in myEcon and you've got the $70 membership. Okay. You got the $59.95 membership. All right. Or, all right. Well, it's about what, $720, $800, $800 a year. Well, if you write off your cell phone, you write off your internet access, and write off 4 or 5,000 miles on your car, maybe a trip. So now you got 5 or 6,000 in tax deductions. Each dollar in tax deductions is going to save you about 25 cents in taxes, in actual cash money in your pocket. So in other words, let's say you got 6,000 in tax deductions. Well, if the business is costing you $800 a year, the 6,000 in tax deductions is going to save you $1,500 on your taxes. You've got a positive cash flow even before you count the amount of money that you make from commissions. Now, when you get your team members to understand that, and when you're talking to somebody that you're talking to about potentially becoming a business owner, and they realize that this is going to be the worst case scenario for them is going to be a net positive cash flow, that's a much easier recruit than somebody who looks at it like an expense. See, I see people all the time, they come in network marketing and they think and they like it's an expense. Well, I can't afford it. But if you can't afford it, that means you already made a financial mistake. Because if you're making a living, they're taking taxes out of your paycheck. So let's go get that money, bring it back into your household. And the best way to do that is through a business deductions. Maybe you want to go on a vacation. All right. Well, if you don't, let's say the vacation costs you $2,000. Well, if you're not a business owner, then you can't write it off. But let's say you take the same vacation and you're a business owner, you're a myEcon member. Do some marketing while you're there and write the whole trip off. Now that's a $500 on a $2,000 vacation. That's a $500 tax savings. Let the government partially pay for your vacation. See, it becomes a whole different scenario when you start using the tax laws to your advantage, which business owners can do instead of always paying at the highest level. Because to be honest, if you don't have a business, there are not very many tax deductions for people that are just employees. Doesn't mean your job is bad, but when you add a business in addition to your job, now all of a sudden you got a totally different scenario when it comes to going out and generating. Okay. And then of course, investing, we're not going to get into investing tonight, but there's tons of places once you get some cash that you can invest, start growing your money. And, worst case scenario, what I always say is get you a good S&P ETF and ride with America. That's a pretty good ride. I'll take that over. I'll take that any day of the week. The 500 largest public companies in the world through the S&P 500, that's a good return. So I'll take that. But, there are lots of good and great investments out there. And you can always, speak to a financial advisor. But you can't go wrong with the S&P 500. Now, so let's go back and let's talk commissions. Let's talk building a business, okay? Now, building a business is obviously, and growing that is obviously about being able to build a team. You want to build a team. But if you're going to build a team, you got to give a person a reason to join your team, right? All right. So if you can talk about the tax advantages of a home-based business, that's a reason, because they're going to get more tax. They're going to save more in tax, and it's going to cost them doing business. If you can talk about a strategy that you used or someone that used that was able to generate significant cash flow independent of recruiting, because what's always the biggest concern, even if they don't say it when you're recruiting somebody, even if they don't admit it, they are thinking, I don't know if I can do it. And I might just lose my money. I might be just wasting my money by investing in this if I can't recruit and build a team. And in most companies, that would be the scenario. But in myEcon, that's not the case because we've got people that's made hundreds of thousands of dollars just using the strategies. And then when you use the strategies, get the cash, invest the cash. Couple quick examples. Keith Tucker, and he's not anywhere near the biggest. One of our leaders up in Washington, up in the Washington, D.C. area. He came in, he was in a financial mess. Him and his wife had a couple kids, young couple at the time. He's been with us now for 8 years, okay? Well, when Keith joined, his credit score was 520. He came in, he changed his W-4 between him and his wife. They got $1,100 a month. They started paying off debt. The credit score went up, okay? From that, he was able to start recruiting. So they paid off $100,000 of debt their first 12 months in myEcon. When the debt was gone, that freed up $2,414 a month. Now they took the $2,414 a month. They took $1,500 of that and started investing, which they've been doing ever since. Now, I would say that 99% of the people in network marketing have never made as much from commissions, independent of the company, from commissions as Keith and his wife Cheyenne have made from using the strategies. So if somebody told you, they said, hey, I made $50,000 using strategies, well, I'll do one even simpler. Let's say somebody say, I saved $5,000 on my taxes last year. And somebody else said, well, I made $5,000 in commissions. Well, which one of them got the better deal? Most people would say commissions, but not really, because the commissions are taxable. And the $5,000 they saved on taxes is tax free. It's already been taxed. So when you broaden that conversation, you broaden the people that you can recruit, and you get those people to stay longer. So I encourage everybody, use the strategies. And there's a strategy for everybody. Obviously, I've been doing this for 40 some years. So I don't need the debt strategy. I paid off all my debt many, many years ago. I don't need the credit strategy, even though I like to keep a good credit score and I have no debt. So I use 7 credit cards. I just rotate them to keep my credit score high, pay them off at the end of that month so I can keep my credit score high. Okay. But the tax strategy, I save $40,000 to $50,000 using the tax strategy every year. The mileage on my car, the travel, everything. I do it all through my business. All my charitable donations, I do it through my business. So now that is a great strategy. Okay. We got Jeanette Butler. She's a millionaire. Okay. Now she's done much better than Keith. She's older, right? She came in with me way back in, a long time ago, 1995. Paid off all of her, changed her W-4. She was a nurse. Her husband was a mechanic. They paid off so they changed her W-4, paid off all their debt. Took them about 4 years to pay off all their debt. Then they took that money, and that was including the mortgage, and started investing. She's got about $3.4 million sitting in her mutual funds, because that's what we invested in back then. She's been doing it so long, she's not going to change. Okay. And that's straight investing. See, it would be wonderful if everybody was Bill and Dan. Man, what I wouldn't give for about 1,000 of those. I'd even take 500 of them, okay? They can recruit and train and do all that. But, I can't call 1-800, send me a bill. Everybody doesn't have that talent. Hey, I don't know how to use social media, but it didn't stop me from becoming a multimillionaire because I found a strategy that wins. Okay. And that wins. So even if you say, well, I don't have any debt. Well, my credit's great. Okay, then use the tax strategies. So you can create a testimony. So you have to create a testimony. A testimony doesn't just happen to you. You make it happen. So if I help somebody change their W-4, bam, they got a testimony. Hey, my first strategy, I got an extra $200 a month in take-home pay, $300 a month, $400 a month. Now, what are you going to do with that to turn it into the big picture? You're going to invest it, you're going to pay off debt, because that's your conversation piece. That's your testimony that's going to get other people to come in business with you when you create that testimony. Now, let's talk about recruiting. We're going to do big picture. You guys got some of the best trainers in the country, in the industry, as leaders. I mean, you got great leaders. You got Kirsty, you got Dan, you got, Bill. They know how to recruit. They know how to train, they know how to develop. Okay. So obviously, you want to always refer people back to Teachable Tuesdays so they can stay motivated and excited and enthused, because that's going to be the key. In other words, the training is more important for the members, the current members. They get more out of it than just guests, because we all need that motivation every week, because out there in life, we always, getting beat up with something, right? So let's just talk about recruiting. We got three levels of our pay system. The first part of our pay system is, and we're going to do the high level points the way you can look at it. Obviously, if you bring somebody in for the $44.95, that's our financial success membership, you're going to make $35 the next Friday. Okay. So then if they stay in 1 month, which, should be have 90% of people do that, you get another $750 bonus. So that's $42.50 on a $44.95 sale. That's 95% payout. Nobody in the industry is even close. Sometimes people even say, "Hey, Ivy, that can't be true." I said, "Yeah, it is." "Well, why do you pay out so much?" Because I know that people need encouragement. Thanks, Dan. I know people need encouragement, and you need that encouragement when you first get in. Okay. You bring somebody in for the EBM, which of course is the, 99 to get started and then $59.95 a month. Well, the commission is $70 the next Friday. Now, if they stay a month, then you're going to pick up an additional $750. So that's $77.50. That's about 88%, 80% payout. Okay. So that's the highest in the industry. So you can say, okay, so you want to bring in as many people as you can. Then when you start talking about overrides, okay, now that's based on your rank. If you got two people on your team, then you're gold. So that override is small, right? It's on the financial success membership, it's 50 cents. On the EBM, it's $1. But as soon as you get to platinum, when you only need 10 people on your team to get to platinum, then that goes up significantly and it's cumulative. So if you bring somebody in when you're a gold, when you make platinum, you start getting gold pay, not platinum pay. Okay. I mean, you start getting platinum commissions, not gold. Okay. You see how, okay, right here, this is your override. So you're making 50 cents. Okay. As a platinum, it's $1.50. Over here, it's $1 and it goes to $3. Okay. Now, but we have I would say some of the easiest rank guidelines in the industry. Okay. And they're cumulative. It's none of this stuff you got to do it in a month. You got to do it in 30 days. No, it's cumulative, because when you build a business, you don't build a business for a month. Now, there's nothing wrong with having a promotion or a contest to say, how hard can I go for a month? But when you build a business is a long-term proposition, and everything you do from day one should be helping you on day 1,000 and so on. Okay. Now, once you get 38 people on your team, you are an infinity. Okay. Now, as an infinity on the FSM, when the new people come in, you're getting $5. Okay. And as an EBM, you're getting $10. Now, everybody wants to get to infinity. Okay. Now, when you talk about the products, when you're talking about the strategies, our number one product, the financial success membership, that's going to be key to getting you to infinity, because you're going to have great retention. You're going to have people that's going to stay in business with you years, not months, years. Because look, if I'm using my myEcon membership to save me $3,000 to $5,000 a year in taxes, well, when am I going to quit? If I'm using the tax dollars to build my investment portfolio, when am I going to quit? And if I'm using the taxes to save me money on my taxes and I'm investing that money, there's nobody in this industry that has a widget or a product that's a better conversation. Example. Let's say that somebody says, well, we got a product where you can save 20% on X widget. Well, we're going to save, okay, so you spend $1,000 and you save 200. I'm like, okay, that's okay. Well, I'm going to show somebody how to save $3,000 to $5,000 a year on their taxes doing what they're already doing without spending any extra money. They're going to write off their vacation. They're going to write off their cell phone. They're going to write off their internet access. They're going to write off mileage on their car, which they were going to do these things anyway. You didn't have to go spend additional money to get some savings. And see, when that's why we have people in myEcon that's been here 20 plus years. 20 plus years. And they're not going anywhere because it's about cash flow. And we all are at different places in business. But every one of us, when we got in business, even if we didn't call it that, we got in business to increase our cash flow. That's what we want to do. And we all want to have enough in cash flow that we can start investing, build some assets, and then let those assets, whether stocks, bonds, real estate, whatever, generate enough cash flow from those assets that we can go and do whatever we want to do in our life. That's what myEcon's about. And then finally, the last thing is the renewals. If your team is about using the strategies, lowering their taxes, getting out of debt, et cetera, okay? Then you're going to have an average time of, like in myEcon, our average member is in over 23 months. If they make it to 6 months, they're going to be around for some years. Okay? It's not a short-term thing. Now, as a gold, well, you're getting 50 cents a month on the financial membership, you're getting 70 on the EBM. But when you make platinum, the people that you brought in or somebody on your team brought in when you were a gold, you start getting paid platinum on those people too. It's cumulative. When you get to infinity, the same thing. If you brought them in when you were gold or platinum, now you start getting infinity. Infinity is $8 a month. Now, I mean, at an EBM, it's $11.20. Could you imagine having people on your team that you've been getting $8 a month or $11.20 a month for 10, 15, 20 years? That's a much more stable business model than a business model where you got to go do something in 30 days and hope everybody jump a hoop and then you get a bonus. myEcon is based upon longevity of building a business based on a concept called cash flow shifting that's not going to change. See, 5 years from now, 20 years from now, and this year current, there's over 100 million people in America that's got a cash flow problem. Every day they deal with this cash flow problem. They need an extra 500 a month, 1,000 a month, whatever it is. They need more money. Well, if they got to keep starting over to try to get that, it's not going to work. So we're just that voice that's saying, you know what? Let's look at how this is really done. Okay, and let's look at that real quick. Corporations, you take a corporation like Google. When they first started, they were just making money on technology from the advertising. But then they created a company called Alphabet, put Google up on it, and they became an investment company. Corporations don't just make all their money just from the sale of products and services. After a while, they take that cash, some of that cash, and they start investing and they start building other assets. That's what myEcon is doing. We're saying don't make all of your money just on how many people you recruited or didn't recruit, but take some of your cash from the strategies, start investing, and then be proud of that and make that a part of your conversation when you're recruiting people or when you're talking to prospective members. And now you're going to get more members. and the whole system is just going to be a cycle of growing and building cash flow through team rebuilding. And then, of course, you got the CEO position. You need 200 people to do that. But it's going to be a lot easier to get to 200 people if you got retention than it is if you don't have retention. So that's basically what we do. Some of the things that we have planned for the future in myEcon is real simple. We have embraced AI. We are going to embrace it even more. It's just going to be beneficial. And the way I see us embracing AI is going to be through um, making our products through the making the strategies easier to use through AI. You know, somebody takes their credit report and simply, we hope to be here before Thanksgiving, and they simply upload it into the database that we have, and it's going to analyze their credit report and tell them what they need to do. So we see AI as being beneficial to us, not something that's going to hurt us. And then we just continue to grow and build from there. So I'm going to turn it back over to Dan, but I'm going to be here and I welcome any questions. I'm a pretty easygoing guy, so all questions are good, no questions are bad, and let's just go from there.
All right. I mean, I can tell by the some of the comments that a lot of people are fired up and excited about this. And obviously, Ivy, you dropped a lot of information. I think Shannon and some others said I'm going to need to watch this about 18 times to pick up on all the nuggets that you dropped. So, if you guys have any questions, drop them in there now, and and let us know, and we'll be happy to hang out and answer any questions that you guys have. Obviously try to keep them specific to the point, whether it's about the compensation plan, whether it's about the products or services. I think that sorry, tongue twister there. AI feature, especially in regards to credit. This is the first I'm hearing of it, and that just sounds really, really awesome. Like literally just uploading your credit report and then knowing exactly, it just takes the guesswork out. It makes it really simple and takes the guesswork out. So I, for one, I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great deal. We're not very far from it. We've actually got the prototype is already done. So
Mhm.
we've done some of these, but the things we're working on now is, well, who owns it? Does the AI company own it? Do we own it? Are you going to change it in the future? That kind of stuff. So
Mhm.
we're going back and forth on that because obviously when we put it back there, we don't want it evolving into something that we didn't intend it to evolve to.
Sure. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
And just the credit repair market in this country is a 100, there's 100 million people with poor credit. And I mean, and one of the things that I've learned in marketing is you got to have a talking piece, you know, um, credit, credit repair, getting a good interest rate on a loan. I mean, that's a great talking piece. Hey, I just got my dream car, but by the way, I got 4% financing instead of typical. Boom. That's a month of talking. Hey, Mary in my downline just bought a new home and the interest rate is X, and it's going to save them X. I mean, that's the way you use cash flow shifting to really have the conversation, and you kind of take this conversation out of this mindset where it's all about just recruiting. In other words, we want to recruit, we want to sell products, we want to build a team, but we have to learn to do that without that being the sole conversation. So you're recruiting through, I want to get my credit fixed versus join so you can go recruit people. I mean, Bill's a perfect example of that. I mean, he's got so many people in his downline that joined. There's no lesser commission, but they joined for credit repair.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was just going to add that back in 2018 when I made that wave, when I joined and we had that wave, literally it was primary credit. It was just credit repair, and I was already in the industry selling credit repair privately. So, and that still is a good target market for anyone. So some of our top recruiters that aren't necessarily here on the funnel team, but they're in my organization. They're just they're just pushing credit repair. That's it. They don't say anything else, just credit repair. So there's a little nugget right there. And Dan, I think this was a nice refresher here. I mean, just to see it in that style. When Ivy said he could use 10 of you, I like to get 5 Ivies.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, let's
But
just
yeah, it was
clone the three of
that
us here.
that was great,
Absolutely.
Ivy. Yeah. Well, we got the good
Thank you.
hairdo. We got the good hairdos.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
there you
sure.
go.
Although I'm a day and a half past shaving here, but that's okay. Yeah, no, it was definitely a refreshing training for sure, and I think it's good to do this stuff every once in a while because we're so focused on the business building. We're so focused on, like Ivy mentioned in the beginning, like he's not big into social media and that type of stuff, and that's something that we primarily focus on. Short form videos and formulas and marketing and all this other stuff, and it's really good to take a step back from that every now and then and just go over like again for you guys the whole point that reason why we did this is so you guys should be like, oh my gosh, like I can save and make a lot of money just with the products and services alone. And it's good to kind of have that wake up call every now and then because sometimes we just, and I'll be the first one to admit that we just kind of bypass that sometimes. I know Bill, you feel the same way that we do need to highlight the products and services more.
Absolutely. And
Yeah,
this whole thing with, I'm a recycler, and the more I think about it, Dan, I mean, all the stuff that we train on, yes, you got to do it. It's part of the whole business. But the whole credit repair angle again, it just makes me think of like I have so much content from all those years that are showing up in memories. And I know, Dan, you even created a funnel for the credit repair.
Mm-hmm.
I actually own the domain. It's just funny. It's gotbadcredit.net, and I point it to that funnel. So yeah, I mean, talking about the products isn't so bad. And I'm like I said, this was good.
Yep.
yeah, it's
Agreed.
not. And I noticed in the comments, one person said if somebody just focus on one thing, then we lose. But another way you have to look at it is you don't build a business in a week, a month, or even a couple months. You build a business over years, and people change.
For sure.
People as they grow. Nobody starts out, at the top level day one. I mean, people change and grow. So somebody may come in for credit repair. Well, after they've had, 750 plus credit for a while, they start to realize, man, what else can I do? Can I build a team by referring other people to credit? Can I leverage my credit? I mean, what else do they have? I mean, because they're looking at it's all up there in the membership, so they see it all every time that they go to the credit repair system. And so people grow and change and evolve. So you can bring a person in, you might bring somebody in just because they want to save money on taxes, and then you don't know who people know. And I mean it just starts to grow, have a life of its own. And so I would say definitely ask people what they're looking for, and you will grow your business much faster because people buy into what they want much faster than they do into what somebody tell them that they need. I know I do.
Yeah. The $60 the tax thing for the write-off, it's such a no-brainer, but it's hard sometimes to convince them. It is the most obvious thing to do when they have a job. Because you said it earlier, and it's real life where they get so many write-offs that they add, and they either get their refund, like we're not for, or they just get more money back every single week. And one
Yeah.
true example is that, and this is a story, this is real, and I've tried to help many in this situation, and haven't been super successful, but it's real. Like for instance, I used to hear women all the time, at my age, who are divorced and they get alimony. And the worst thing, and they complain, they almost cry on the money that they owe the government at the end of the year because they got to pay taxes on that. And I used to say to them, it was like a formula. I'd say, just join any business. You don't even got to be successful. I used to say that. I said, just join myEcon, pay the $60 a month, and you can write all that stuff off because you're gonna write all the expenses off because now you're in business and you're going to pay less taxes on your alimony. That's just one avenue. And I tried to do that. I tried to make that a marketing formula, but it just proves the point that just owning the business, even if you're not successful, you're winning in this
Absolutely.
industry.
Yeah, yeah. Even if you're not recruiting, you can still have tremendous success. But I've never seen anybody in all the years that we've been teaching this that started doing income shifting that didn't eventually start having some level of success in recruiting because their conversation is so broad. I mean, and you think about it, if you just think about your friends, if you go to your friends, you say, hey, I just joined a network marketing company and we're recruiting people and selling some great products. We got wonderful products. They look at you like, ooh, I got to hear this. I just want to have lunch with you. But you sitting there talking to your friends and you like, look, I just, became a member of a company and they showed me a strategy where I just increased my take home pay by $500 a month. And they're like, well, how'd you do that? See? See, a money conversation is better than a marketing conversation if it's the first conversation. And so just remember that a money conversation is much more acceptable than a marketing conversation because so many people feel like they can't market. Now, once they use the money conversation, or then you say, well, I joined this company, and they'll say, well, I don't want to recruit. Well, okay, don't recruit, just use a strategy. But I promise you, once they use this strategy, they're going to say, they're going to tell their friends. And the next thing you know, they're recruiting without seeing themselves as big recruiters. You know, somebody did have in the chat box, they said, would there be any great additional international products? And the answer to that would be yes. We haven't picked any yet, but as we're doing a rebrand that is going to be that's coming out this fall, early fall. Once we get past that, then we are going to start looking at some products that we can provide to the international community. And so, yes, the answer to that question will be yes, even though I don't know what they'll be just yet.
That's good
Someone
to know.
also mentioned, Ivy, about the travel, if you want to talk about that real quick. But before you do, real life, guys, I use the travel portal. I always tell Ivy, I play in it. I use it. It works. It beats the public pricing most of the time. It's all about supply and demand. My girlfriend has family in Chicago. She was on Expedia. You should have saw. She was on Expedia. I go, what the hell are you doing on Expedia? And I gave her my login. I said, use my membership, and we compared, and it's always less for the hotels. Yeah, use your travel portal. You save, one good trip, one seven, night trip, you're going to save more money most of the time nowadays than your whole year membership will be. So, I mean, really, I mean, you're going to save a lot of money.
And then you write it off
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
along with the trip.
yes.
I mean, look, with all the fanfare we've had in this country over the last 90, 120 days about taxes, let's at least take advantage of them since we got them right.
Mm-hmm. Yep, for
So,
sure.
hey, I'm not going to argue with anybody about lowering my taxes. Okay, I want that. So,
And we get to keep it now. It wasn't
and we get to
changed.
keep it right. Yeah, yeah. So let's
So,
let's use it, and take that money and build investment portfolios and just have fun. That's the thing that I tell everybody is that learn your business well enough and grow your finances and have fun. When you're having fun and when you've got joy in your heart, people want to do business with you. It's more than just the numbers on the paper to build a business. So, hey, this is this is great. I've enjoyed it. And anytime I can be of help, Dan, Bill both have my number. Call me. I see my buddy Mark up there. We've talked many times, and I've been helping him with the business. So, hey, I'm an easy guy to get a hold of. And if you're ever in Georgia, come down and we'll go have some barbecue or something.
No,
That's the kind of person I am.
talking my language.
There
All
you go.
right, good deal.
Talking my language. I actually have been told by many in my neighborhood that have come over to my house for brisket that I smoke a better brisket than any of the restaurants around here. So
I might have to visit you.
throwing it out. Hey, it's not that far of a drive, man.
Yeah,
Myrtle to
absolutely.
Atlanta is not that far.
No, it's not at all.
I think it's about 5 hours.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, listen, we just hit an hour. So, Ivy, I mean, bombs, nuggets dropped. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Appreciate you taking time out of your evening away from your family to come hang out with us. And funnel team, all you guys and everybody watching the replay, appreciate you guys being here. Obviously, make sure that you guys are taking advantage of these products and using them to your advantage. And I'm even going to throw out a challenge out there. I'm going to upload this video to our team training, which, by the way, is in your bonus section. All of the live training replays are in the bonuses section. And I'm going to upload this. You guys can go grab a YouTube downloader. Ask ChatGPT if you need help. Take this video, break it down into segments. Ivy talked about cash income shifting. He talked about the compensation plan. He talked about credit repair. You could literally take this video, break it down into multiple videos, upload it to your YouTube channel, use this great content, take the whole video, upload it yourself as your own video as well. Let's get the word out on how awesome the co-founder is, how awesome the products are, how awesome the service and compensation plan is. Use this stuff, guys. Like, please use the information we gave to you guys tonight. Don't just like watch it and be like, oh, this is so cool. This is great. Yay, rah, rah. Like, take this stuff and literally go use it. That's why we do this. Okay. So appreciate you guys. Ivy, Bill, thank you guys. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you guys on the inside real soon. Have an awesome night. Later.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care, guys and ladies. Bye-bye.